Okay. So hi, Donna. It's nice to
Hi,
meet you.
Michael.
So just to start off, do you think that you could tell me a little bit about yourself?
No, I want you to tell me about you and why am I on this thing and what am I supposed to be doing? Because I know nothing. So, who are you,
Right. So
Michael?
so I work for Voquent, um, and Voquent is a voiceover platform. So people go on there, they add their samples and their demos, and hopefully they get selected for jobs and things like that. It's a free platform, so you don't have to pay to get on. You just go upload your demos or and the like, and then people will go through kind of like a shopping list and listen to your samples. And if you're right for the job, they'll shortlist you and
Now,
hire you for a role.
I I on this website?
I don't know. I don't think so. You can be
Should
on
I
it.
be as an established voice actor? Should I be on this?
I think that there's no reason to not be on Voquent. We're fast growing, um,
Mm.
and honestly,
Do
like I
you get
said, it's
video
free.
game jobs?
We
Do
have
you get
video
video
game
game?
jobs, yeah, animation,
Mm.
film, commercial, e-learning. All the
No,
nine
no, I don't.
yards.
I'm not interested in that. I want to be on the next AAA game coming out of the UK. So is that what something you guys do?
Oh well, like I said, we're growing. We've worked with games before. I don't know which ones I can talk about.
Mm. I know
um,
because it's like 5 years in advance. Okay,
yeah,
good
but
answer. That was a trick. That was a trick question,
oh,
Michael.
that's
And
fantastic. Well, I hope to see
if
you on
you
there.
could
That
have
would be
just
amazing.
blown, you could have just blown it by saying, "Oh yeah, we're working on Assassin's Creed 12."
Yeah,
Oh, whoops. Yeah.
yeah. Kind of feels like we must have passed 12 by now, but yeah.
God.
No, it's through Metal Gear Solid that I first kind of came into contact with your work generally. Um,
I got it.
so for me, it's kind of like it's fantastic to be able to actually talk to you because back in 2000, well, I don't know when did
15.
it would have been before that with Heaven's Divide.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah.
So you're not a big fan of the iDroid. That's not,
No, well, I love the iDroid as
you're not
well.
wanting to get behind the character, what
Uh,
my motivation was
I,
as a system voice.
no, I spent hundreds
Oh
and hundreds of hours playing Metal Gear Solid 5. It's a
my
curse.
God. And did you turn me off?
I
Like
didn't I
literally
didn't
turn me
I didn't
off?
realize that I could, not that I would have, because it was such a fantastic performance. Um,
Very distracting, but I know there's incredible action and then you get this emotive voice
yeah,
telling you the mission's been accomplished. I know
yeah,
it must have just been,
yeah.
whew, it
It's
must have added hours to the game
well,
where you were just
sometimes I
like,
just
I
scroll
just
through
want
the
to hear what
menus.
you're going to say next.
Yeah,
What's she going to
that's
say
it.
next?
Just
Oh, talking of Metal Gear Solid, who have I got here? But Snake Eater himself,
oh,
Archie. Archie.
that's so
He's
cute.
got his own T-shirt, a bag. You've got what else have you got? You've got so much merchandise, haven't you, Archie?
I'd pick
You've
my
got
cat up.
FOMO.
I'd pick my cat
He's
up, but
literally eaten a
she's
snake,
what?
and he's met David Hayter over Zoom, haven't
Oh,
you?
I've not met
You've
David Hayter
really,
over Zoom.
uh,
You like one
I
of our
could
tweets?
say, okay. He doesn't even follow me on Twitter, so does that make you feel better?
Well, he doesn't follow us either, but no, that actually makes me feel a little worse. Uh,
But I
he
actually
should
know
be
him,
following you.
and I'm friends with him. So I'm just trying to make you feel better here. Like
All
I'm
right.
friends with a guy, and he doesn't follow me. So
Well, you know what? Yes, that does make me feel a lot better. Okay, so
good
now it's your turn. Now it's your turn to tell me about
to
you.
feel terrible.
Oh well,
Oh,
it's always mine.
tell me about me. Okay, so let's just cut to the chase. Cat lady. I'm a cat lady. I've actually got clean clothes on. There's probably only hardly a few, but there's probably a lot of cat hair on me. I love singing, and I think I love singing more than voice acting or acting. I think because a lot of acting is very for me it's either very comedic and I'm trying not to laugh, I'm cracking myself up and you've got to keep a straight face, or it's very dramatic and very, you're feeling a lot of emotions and stuff. And with voice acting, you can do take after take after take or take. So the stakes aren't that high. If you're confident, you're this, and the director keeps saying, do it again, do it a different way. It's if you're not confident and or a shit. Am I allowed to say shit on this podcast?
Yeah, it should be fine. Don't worry about
if
it.
you're shit at, then you would be, that would be terrible. But singing is just usually live. It's just such a, you're physically making a beautiful sound. In voice acting, often you're like, oh, not making very nice sounds. But in singing, it's just so beautiful, especially when you're listening to my voice. Hi, everyone. I've got high self-esteem. I suffer from high self-esteem. No, but it's so, that's what my main thing is, acting and singing. But I have to say I love singing. And lately I've been doing a lot of writing. I write lyrics, but I'm writing a TV show and I'm writing a film. That's what's keeping me busy during COVID. And I'm planning to do a symphonic concert tour of singing the hits from, from Heaven's Divide, from Metal Gear, from Final Fantasy. That's my dream, is when I get in front of fans. So I'd love to come to Glasgow. I'd love to come to the UK and sing. And I've got the rights to do that. So I've been spending, Michael's been helping with that. We've had a great response from Square Enix, from everyone with us. And so that's what I'm looking forward to doing.
That's fantastic.
Getting out of my tracky dacks, getting into a sparkly dress with a symphony behind me and singing my heart out.
No, I was actually listening to your like in preparation for the interview. I was listening to the work that you did with is it game plus anime equals
Yep, Ganame.
Yeah.
Ganame Jazz, yeah.
And there was a cover in there of, at least somewhere in there, of the Real Folk Blues. And I was like, oh,
yes,
I love that.
And name drop, I'm going to do this. Yoko Kanno has given me permission to sing that in English in a symphonic version for my concert tour. So I'm so excited. And she's also given me permission to do After All, another song I did for Gundam movie. So yeah, she's been so supportive and so nice. She's a really nice lady.
That's incredible. I absolutely adore the music in Cowboy Bebop. I think it's just immaculate.
Did you watch the Netflix show? I didn't watch the Netflix show.
Yeah, it wasn't my,
Yeah, it wasn't your cup of tea.
I think what it was is once I've watched when I watched the original, I was kind of like, oh, I'm full. Like that's like the perfect meal, So anything else is kind of like, I don't want to overdo it, and you know what I mean. So yeah, no, you mentioned singing, obviously, and it says on your Wikipedia that you've got over 10 years of professional training. So do you mind like going into kind of what that entails?
Yeah, that's not having rich parents and being one of 7 children. And when I finally left high school and I got a job in a bank, the most boring job, one of my most boring jobs ever. And I could afford to get singing lessons. So I went to a teacher and got singing lessons, and that involved opera training. And then when I got to Japan, I sort of had to throw the opera training. I've used it for some songs, but a lot of opera is so sort of different style to pop, rock, jazz, that I once saw Dame Kiri Takanawa singing opera, and it wasn't, she's an opera singer, fantastic, New Zealand opera singer, sang at Prince Charles's first wedding to die. And she was singing like a musical, and you can imagine her, let it go, can't hold it back anymore. And it was just like, oh God, stop, please, love, no. She just couldn't sing anything else unless it was opera. And I thought, well, I don't want to, I love being when I got here, I was a session singer and I got to do all sorts of different styles, and that's really fun for me. So opera training is great. If anyone's listening who wants to get better at singing, I thoroughly recommend an app that's available on Apple and and the other one, Android, and it's called Warm Me Up. It's a bit expensive, but if you've ever had a singing lesson, that it's cheaper than having a singing lesson, and that app is just so awesome. Check it out. It's real. If you're trying to train your voice, you get really bored listening to the same exercises, and this app varies them, and I've only got 10 minutes, and I often do it in my car. So yeah, recommend that.
Yeah,
You'll see an
I'll drop
improvement.
a link in the description to the video so people can check that out.
And I don't earn any money from recommending it, so
Neither do we. So take that as you will.
just for the goodness of my heart.
Yeah. So do you feel like your singing career has helped kind of push your voice acting career, because you're kind of at a strange intersection, I feel, both as the android, for example, and singing Sin of the Fathers, which is like,
I'll just correct you there, because you'll get so many people just like absolutely abusing you online for calling the iDroid an android, which
ooh,
I called an android an iDroid, which is that's a mistake that I can make. But you, Michael, doing that is just so catastrophic.
God. No,
I think
really
let's just restart the whole interview. Let's just restart the whole interview.
I'm genuinely
so in answer to your question, no, it's funny. No, I made the same mistake. I can't remember the question. Something about being a singer and an actor. Is it confusing?
Do you feel like they complement each other well? Does your work as a singer inform your work as a voice actor, for instance?
Well, singing's acting. So singing is just taking a script, which is the lyrics, and unlike movie actors who can't hear the score behind them, and you think of it when you watch movies, how music just makes it so much better a film. That's what, yeah, I think singing's kind of easier because it's sort of so. Oh no, actually, that's not true. That's rubbish. Singing's way harder.
Yeah, well, that's it. I wouldn't be able to do.
Yeah, singing's way harder. But it's yeah, I think actually I was just having a chat with someone who I used to do a lot of work with singing in hotels back in the day, and he's now like earning his living as a screenwriter. His name's David Chester. You can follow David Howard Chester. You can follow him on Twitter, and he's an incredibly accomplished pianist, and he's worked with some amazing people in his career, including me. That's the theme for today, everyone listening. I'm just going to like talk myself up, which is very un-English and very un-Australian. We get our visas, we get our passports taken away for talking ourselves up. So, but he was saying how being a musician really helps him as a writer, and we understand beats and feel, just there's this innate like sense that musicians have of, oh, that landed well, or oh, that's something, oh, is that a bit flat, oh, I don't know. And same thing with dialogue, that's been unnatural, or so I definitely think it's musicians who are listening, you would know that affects your whole everything you do. I mean, even cleaning, don't you have special music to motivate you to clean the house? Or do you live in a tip, Michael?
No, until recently. Until recently, I lived in a tip, but I've actually tidied.
It looks like it looks very pristine. Of people who are listening, it's all white.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
This is my interview wall, because it's the white.
And you're sitting on a white chair, and you're wearing a white
top. Yeah, it's so that I kind of look like a head floating in the void. Or contrast with my hair. Yeah, okay, so you've released quite a few albums as well. Is there anything, well, obviously there are plenty of things, but is there anything specific that jumps out to you that people may not realize goes into producing an album, like behind the scenes?
Money. You need money. I think. I like to pay people. If you've got no money, then you pay them with food. So I'm really into paying, making a nice environment. Everyone gets a nice meal when we're recording. When I recorded the vocal tracks for Metal Gear Solid 2015, I had to make 5 in a very short amount of time. I had to make 5 cover tracks for Konami. And I still remember, like ordering, I think Mexican, and just like having musicians have something really yummy to look forward to, because we had this epically long 12-hour session because we got this big discount for booking the studio. And yeah, money, it takes, okay, money, a meaning, a generosity of spirit and thinking of others, making a nice environment, because when everyone's comfortable, full belly, and they feel cared for, then I think good work comes out of that. I'm a feeder. What can I say?
I'm just so generous.
No, because I don't want to eat my beautiful taco meal and go, what are you guys having?
I get you. Yeah, it's a very powerful motivator for generosity. Is general guilt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You come from a big family too, do you, Michael?
Yes. There's.
So if you're making a cup of tea when we were growing up,
you get it.
My mother or father would,
Yeah.
you have to get it for everyone else.
Yeah, like a tray. Yeah. Either that or it's like a scramble for survival. If you...
Yeah.
Yes. Right. Yeah. So obviously, as you're aware, you live in Japan, or at least operate out of Japan. What is it about Japan that draws you?
It's so many things. Great people I get to work with, like Yoko Kanno. The right now I'm in the mountains, so beautiful snow, and as an Australian growing up in beachside Perth, having snow is really fun and exciting. Having these different seasons, the food's amazing, the people are really nice. It's a place that's in the same time zone as Australia, so I can have a FaceTime my mum, going to the shops. I can get on a flight, 12-hour flight being in the UK, 10-hour flight being in LA, 10-hour flight being Australia. I feel like Japan's the center of the world. And when back in the day when I was traveling a lot for work, then it just feels a really good place to be if you're having a worldwide career.
Mm-hmm. I've always wanted to visit Japan. It's just it's never really illustrated itself. It looks beautiful, especially compared to the UK. It's very different.
I love going to the UK as well. So I love all this. I love the supermarkets and the apart from the pretty towns and the Marks and Spencer. Oh yeah, Marks and Spencer's undies.
Marks
Too much information.
Just that way. Or walk past it to get to work. Yeah. Pretty.
And the food, it's just, I think there's a lot of similarities between Japan and the UK's. Royal family, check. Island, check. Obsessed with tea, check. Obsessed with talking about the weather, check. Not huggy, not happy to just they're not touches. So yeah.
Well, that's when you put it that way, they do sound very similar. They're the 5 main metrics. Yeah. Yeah. So you touched on it just before, but those that album that you worked on with the covers for various different Metal Gear Solid songs, including Snake Eater, which you did absolute justice to. So thank you.
Thank you.
What was it
like? There is a couple of people on YouTube who just hate it, but that's fine.
People
I feel like fair enough. Fair enough,
love.
Yeah, fair enough, love. You do you. Sorry, what was the question? What was it like?
To kind of revisit some of these these like classics. I mean, even
Well,
beyond Metal
to
Gear.
let's to be honest, most of them I'd never heard of before because I've never played a Metal Gear Solid game because I don't like scary things and Metal Gear and anything that has any tension. I mean, the tension that I want to have in my life has Archie thrown up. Will I step into it? That's it. That's a ceiling, and I'm willing to tolerate. But to sort of creep around and get shot at is too realistic for me. So yeah, it was really a privilege to listen to all these amazing songs and really diverse artists, like an Irish singer, the Israeli woman, um, singing, Yiddish, and then have to translate it into Japanese, into English, and make some sense of it. Yeah, it's like a really fun puzzle, and to know that people would be. What I love about Metal Gear Solid is it's just such a worldwide game. I've got fans all over the globe because of it, and it's really a privilege.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. I mean, like I said, it's how I kind of first came into contact with any of your work anyway. Um, and I remember that you might not because you don't play games, but well, Metal Gear Solid games. But there was a trailer for Metal Gear Solid 5 with that Sins of the Father, and I was like, this is the wow.
Oh, I felt like this. So when I was at Tokyo Game Show in 2013, they were playing that. They were playing that song, with Sins of the Father. They were playing the E3 trailer on a loop, and it was so exciting. It was, I mean, the hype. I was living in years of hype. It was pretty fantastic.
Was it ever
Um,
hard to kind of manage that, like existing inside of that hype?
no, well, with Cat Vomit, that's the great equalizer. No, it was really fun to look forward to it, and then when it dropped on, September, I think it was September the 1st, or was it
Yeah,
September the 1st or
it
was
was.
September the 30th?
I think it
Yeah,
was the
and then
first.
we had a party at my office, and Kojima-san came, and Stephanie was there, and it was yeah, it was super awesome. And then to get invited to speak at different places just because of my association with that game. Um, yeah, it's like one of the most privileged things that's happened to me, and it's led to other really great opportunities. So yeah,
Well,
including singing the songs with symphony orchestra, which is like the biggest like rush
mm-hmm.
because they're such epic songs.
Is like performing on stage something else compared to like a booth.
Oh, let's just re performing on stage. There's 60 musicians behind you. All the vibrations of the instruments are literally going through your body and out to the audience. There's immediate feedback. Like if you watch the video on YouTube of me singing Snake Eater in Paris, as soon as I walk out, do, 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 and the audience goes, rah! I mean, I've got chills just saying that. Like it's so fun. And in a recording, if you're lucky these days to be in a recording that's not remote, you're alone in the booth, and there's maybe a voice in your head going in your headphones going, yeah,いいですね。もうちょっと sexy な感じ, you know, can you say it a bit more? That was good. Can you say it a bit more sexier? Because let's face it, people, that's not why people. I don't get the jobs because I'm a hot looking chick. All right. That's not how I get the jobs. But anyway, so yeah, a booth recording versus singing to 2,000 people. Next question.
You sell it very well. I can't sing, so for me, it's like I'll take your word.
Do
It
you do
sounds
voice
great.
acting, Michael?
No, I just work for for
Okay,
companies.
yeah, because yeah, I think doing voice acting is fun and satisfying. It's just a very different level of adrenaline, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, obviously this is the Donna Burke interview, but I got to ask, what's it like? Assuming you had a lot of communication with him, what was it like to work with like an auteur like Kojima?
Well, the thing is, I don't know anything about him as an auteur. I've never played the games. I just know everyone's like my first time meeting, this is Kojima-san. He's the creator of the game. It's like, hello, nice man. Those biscuits look nice. It's like I've met Stan Lee. I didn't know who he was. Like it's the same level of I'm so ignorant, and he's very nice and friendly, and I'm I could I could make a whole story about him, but yeah, he's very smiley, super smiley guy. So
In a way,
they're always really nice to me.
do you feel like that might benefit your work because there's not this weight of any kind of expectation?
I think it totally does, because I mean, yeah, totally. Imagine, I can't even imagine what it would. Well, if you've met a famous person before, sometimes you just get so, nervous, and you start sweating, and
Yeah.
so I didn't have that. I was like, "Hi, hello. Oh, what's your name again? Kojima. Oh, okay." Like, so yeah, so incredibly ignorant. It's like someone introducing me. It's like your mum coming in. Hello, Mrs. Michael's mum. That's a nice jumper you've got on, love. It's just, and then later you say she invented the COVID vaccine, and she's the head of the UN, and I'm like, oh, now you tell me. But even then, it's like,
I think that must be a benefit.
it's funny. It's more people's reaction that I know him, and the hushed tones that they talk about him. But it's like, okay, like, oh, that girl over there is really hot, and you're like, okay,
No,
I suppose so.
You don't really strike me as the kind of person who kind of goes into a room and kind of crumbles, like confidence wise. So yeah, kind of moving towards the end of the interview, just kind of got a few kind of weird-ish questions. Not that weird, but like just a little weird. So if you were cloned, do you think that you would get along with your clone? Like, do you think you'd be best friends or mortal enemies? Why is that?
If I was cloned, I would be obsessed with looking what I look like from behind. What does my hair look like? I think I'd be very distracted, and I'd be like, oh, I didn't know I had a freckle on the back of my neck. Totally. Like, I had to switch off hide self view on this thing because I couldn't stop looking at myself. I could not stop looking. So if I had a clone, I'd be like, oh, that's how I sit down? Oh, that's interesting. I'd be freaking fascinated by it. I wouldn't get much done for a while, but then I'd sort of get used to her. I think she might take up a bit much space. So where would she sit? Would I make a stand behind? I'd probably make a stand behind the curtains. But she would be very reliable. I think I'd like her. She'd be good at cleaning. I'm really good at cleaning houses. I used to do it when I was a student. Yeah, she'd be handy. Can you just pop down and feed the cats? The clone would. I love that British show, which is, I think it's a remake of a Scandinavian show, Humans, starring Gemma Chan, about clones.
Right.
Check it out, everyone. It's called Humans.
I'll have to look it up. Is it recent?
But I don't want to be a sex clone. I don't want to be a sex clone.
No.
I just want to be a regular,
just
normal
like
clone.
Do you not think you'd get in that situation where like you're kind of arguing over who's the real one?
Yeah.
That's always the kicker in it. Like gunpoint, kind of shoot the real. Yeah. I'm the real one.
Yeah, because if it's a good clone, she'd be able to just talk shit off the bat the way I can.
Yeah,
So,
well, that's it. It's like she wouldn't be walking to the shop
mm,
because she'd want you to go to the shop. So it's kind of like, you know.
no, but I'm a people pleaser. So we'd be like, no, I'll do it. No, I'll do it. I'll do it. So no, I think it'd be fine.
Well, that's good. At least it's not like constantly trying to kill each other in crazy ways kind of thing. You know, like a montage.
After you, not after you, no, after you, no.
Okay, well,
Cool. It's so great to have a chat and have you ask questions about me, my favorite subject.
no,
So wow, this has been wonderful.
I'm pleased. I'm pleased that you.
Yeah, the cats never ask me anything. They're so disinterested.
I've got
So
mine. She
thanks,
screams when she's
Michael.
hungry.